Okay, this is a short video to show how to clean a chain and lube it on the Ducati Diavel. What you will need is paper towels, chain lube. I like modal chain lube road. It tends to be a little bit more tacky and doesn't fling off the chain nearly as much if you let it sit overnight. Chain clean from the same company. And also, ideally, you want to have a grunge brush. This is just for scrubbing out the gunk in the chain. And also you want a piece of cardboard, which will prevent overspray from getting on your wheel. You just kind of wedge that in between the single-sided rear stand or whatever stand you're using, or between the floor and the swing arm, and it just prevents overspray because much of your spray is going to be hitting right here. And if you don't have this here, then you got to be really careful and have rags, and it just becomes a huge mess. So this helps quite a bit, and you can reuse the cardboard over and over again. So I usually just toss all my stuff in a bucket when I'm done doing the job, and let's get started. So first, I'm going to take your chain clean and just spray it on the chain really copiously while you're turning the wheel with the bike in neutral. And just get it really good and super saturated with chain lube. Note the cardboard is protecting the wheel. You don't have to worry about any overspray getting anywhere. And your stand might get a little dirty, but that's pretty easy to clean up. So now that the chain is all nice and wet with chain clean, now you can come in with your grunge brush, bump it up against the swing arm, hold it in place, and just spin the wheel the opposite direction. This is just to break up and loosen up all the junk that was on the chain before you spray it again with chain lube or chain cleaner to get all that loose gunk off. So you just spin the chain through a couple times, set that aside, and then go back to your chain clean. And this is why you use the paper towels underneath, because you can see the dripping is kind of dropping down. Because using so much chain cleaner, the sprockets are going to get pretty wet, and you're going to have a lot of chain clean fluid dripping down. So that's pretty well cleaned up. Now we could just use a paper towel to get the rest of it. And you just wad up the paper towel, fold it over a few times, and then very carefully, you don't want to pinch your hand or anything, just push it on the underside while you spin the wheel. Heard horror stories of people putting their hand in and going, oh, crunching their fingers in the sprocket. You don't want to do that. You also don't want to have the bike running and in gear while you're doing this stuff. All kinds of bad things can happen. And you want to push the rag up on the side to clean the side plates. So that's pretty clean. Now we want to get the inside, but before we do that, we want to clean the sprocket off, because it's just got gunk that's kind of caked onto it, as you can probably see. I don't know, probably can't see from this far away. Let me zoom in a little bit. It collects pretty much right in here. So what you need to do is spray some more chain cleaner on, and you can use the grunge brush to kind of wipe and spray. You'll see it kind of breaks up. You'll probably use a toothbrush for this, just a hard bristle toothbrush. Russell, I'm thinking, and probably be a little bit easier than this big grunge brush, but as you can see, that gets it pretty good. And all of this chain maintenance stuff will lead to longer life of your sprockets, I believe these are steel sprockets stock, but especially if you're running aluminum sprockets, frequent chain maintenance, at least every 300 to 500 miles, is key to extending the life of your sprockets by quite a bit. If you let your chain get all gooped up and stiff with gunk or even rusted, then it actually puts more stress on the teeth and can cause premature wear. So you want to be cleaning your chain pretty frequently, especially if it rains. If it rains, you want to make sure to at least lube the chain after the rain to protect it from rusting. And the rain tends to be extra hard on your lube. It'll wash it away, so you want to be careful. One of the fastest, surefire ways to destroy a chain is ride in the rain a lot and never lube your chain. It'll it'll rust up, stiffen up, and you'll have O-rings poking out everywhere. I actually had that happen once on a bike. So this is just one of those things where it's like, hey, an $8 bottle of chain cleaner, a toothbrush, and a roll of paper towels can save you money. Sprockets and chains aren't really cheap. I mean, some chains can be up over $100. Sprockets also can be up, like, I think, what, $30 for a front sprocket, about $60 for a rear sometimes. Depends on which brand you get. If you get super sprockets, it could be really expensive. But yeah, you just want to make sure to go through and get all this gunk off, and it pays off in the long run. You also want to do this in a nicely ventilated area. My garage is okay, it's got vents and stuff. But this isn't the best substance to be breathing in for extended periods. So the ideal place to do a chain clean is outside, but it's nighttime right now, and I want to be making noise out with the neighbors, so this is just about done. That's one thing you want to make sure to have plenty of cans of chain cleaner. You're going to go through a lot more cleaner than chain lube. Lube you usually want to be fairly sparingly. Use sparingly. Don't overdo it. Otherwise, you'll just get a gooey, sticky mess all over the place, and chain lube's kind of a pain to clean off wheels. Now, go back through and just do one last shot with a rag. Make sure most of the chain cleaner's off. Always spin the sprocket away from your hand so you're not pinching. Okay, now we can go back through with the chain lube and lubricate the chain. This is where having this piece of cardboard is really handy. So we're going to zoom back out. And with this, you just want to go, maybe a little awkward, but there we go. You just want to do a nice little spritz. Shake the can up. And most of where you want your lube to be is on the rollers. You want a little bit to get in with the rings, the rubber rings, whether you've got O-rings or Z-ring, X-ring, whatever. But that should be pretty good. Just spin it through a couple times, and and yeah, it's wet on the top side. So, I mean, if you really want to be, retentive about how much lube you're getting, you can go on the top side and spray like this. But that's a bit more awkward. I don't think it's totally necessary, but just for sake of video, that's another option. So, clean off any excess, spot checks. Now we're going to do the same thing we did with the cleaner, except now we can pull this away because all of our gunk has been sprayed and pretty much done at this point. Set it aside. Use a clean rag, paper towel, and then you just want to come in and gently press on the chain to get any excess off. All of the important lube that your chain's actually going to use is up inside. It's gotten down in the rollers and in the rings. So this is just to remove any excess. Just lightly press here now. Or you can go up top and stick it in like this and run that way. And then just to be sure you didn't wipe too much, your finger should have a little bit of lube on it. And wipe off any more excess. You're going to have some chain cleaner and stuff up on the top of the swing arm, so you can wipe that down. And that should be about it. I mean, aside from just cleaning up any excess and spot checking dirty bits. That's it. And then you just want to let the bike sit overnight. I mean, you can run it right away, but you're going to get a little bit of fling because your lube hasn't had time to get tacky. It does get tacky pretty quickly, but I usually do this at night after riding because then the chain is nice and hot, warmed up, and that helps get the chain lube down into all the little cracks and crevices. So that's basically how to lube and clean a chain. I hope that helped people and reduced a little frustration with getting their wheels filthy. So, see you later.